Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Starcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers, and alongside James, my other brother, we are here discussing the first two games of the regular season for the Dallas Stars. They are undefeated in the young season, as we will talk about here very shortly. But if you're here for the first time, we're glad that you're here on the train for Starcastic Remarks. Please make sure you click like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Starcastic Remarks. We go live at 9:30. 9:30 for sure on Wednesdays, but Sunday it may change every once in a while. But Sundays as well, Sunday evenings as well. And we will be with you throughout the regular season, throughout the playoffs, and hopefully all the way to a Stanley Cup by the end of the year. Well, I have my plate of fajita chicken in front of me, James. I got my zebra cakes, and I've got my Dr. Pepper. So this must be an episode of Starcastic Remarks.
Oh, you got a full-on meal going over there.
Yeah, no, and people think I'm joking. No, it's zebra cakes, Dr. Pepper, and it's literally right here. You got some fajita chicken right there, so I'm good to go.
The only thing I got is some sweet tea.
It depends on what kind of sweet tea. Did you brew it yourself or is it like store bought?
It is from HTO.
Oh, yeah.
It is wedding cake flavor, which is technically off their secret menu.
I have not actually been there yet. Do you go there often?
We go there often, yes. Me and Samantha go all the time.
See, like quite literally, there was one right around the corner from the church building where we went to church at in Odessa. We don't live in West Texas anymore, but it was like right there. And I think I went like once or twice, I think, and that was about it. So I think there was like what was it? Started with a C. Chamomile tea is the one that I had.
They have a bunch of flavors in there. The one that I have is half coconut and half fresh almond, like sweet almond.
That sounds really good.
It's so good. Anyway,
sorry, I know well, hold on. I know we're going down a rabbit hole real quick, but I have to say this because this has to be said. If you buy store-bought tea, you must get either Milo's or Red Diamond in that order. Milo's must be the first option, and Red Diamond must be the second option. Those are the only two options that you get. Like the green leaf crap or whatever, or like the peace tea or whatever, that stuff is fake. Okay, it's Milo's or Red Diamond. I know I'm opening
a mini Who Cares segment at the beginning of the episode.
Right, there you go. The top two. James, what's your top? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Lizzie, I feel offended by that. Ryan getting diabetes by 35, maybe. But hey, at least I'm getting protein, right? Some fajita chicken. Anyways, I do want to address the mini elephant in the room in that we are not doing AGRs anymore. As much as we enjoyed doing those, I think we got burnt out a little bit doing it for the last crazy. I think it's been 5 years that we've done that. And it was kind of taking over our lives a little bit. And as much as we love hockey, I think we needed to step back a little bit. And the only reason why we even did those AGR episodes to begin with was because there was almost no media coverage of the Dallas Stars. And now that we're starting to get more entities out there, the Stars are starting to get the press that they deserve. You've got DLLS, you've got other guys that have come out since. Gavin, Locked On Stars has always been there, but I feel like it was a little redundant for us to continue the way we were doing it. And all three of us kind of agreed that it would be nice to spend a little bit less time on doing stuff. And especially right now, if you understood my schedule with my family, with my job, the nickname for October in the band world is Bandtober, because it literally takes over your life every single weekend. So this is not the end of AGRs for sure. But Talek Lizzie, yes, we're all right. I'm already on top of that. I'm looking at the schedule, making sure we will for sure do the playoffs. I feel like, and then when big games come along, like when we play Colorado again, which sucks, not until March again. That will definitely be a thing moving forward. But anyways,
games are on Sundays, Wednesdays. We'll have basically a mini AGR anyway. So
correct.
We'll have them on those days too.
Correct. That is correct. So like if the game, for example, starts at like 8:00, we'll probably push the episode a little bit later just to make sure that we kind of accommodate that. And it's going to be kind of off and on, especially on Wednesdays as well when the games go late or whatever. But anyways, enough talking about semantics and tea and fajita chicken. Let's get to hockey. We've got two games that, my gosh,
polar opposites ended the exact same score.
Well, not really polar opposites, to be honest with you. It was, I would say bipolar, but I guess that's complete opposite too, right?
Yeah, but they were complete opposites. I mean, the first game, the Stars dominated the whole game except for the last 10 minutes, and they got completely caught off guard in the last bit. Almost gave it up, squeaked it out though, and then the second game they played bad for like every period. They played bad for like 15 minutes of it, and then 5 minutes of the whole period they would play good, and they scored 4 goals somehow through all that.
There you go. There's the episode. Congratulations. Have a good night. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to start off with, first off, it's a dumb question, but I think it's a relevant question. The Stars are 2-0 on the regular season. That's the name of the episode currently as we're doing this live stream. Should we be celebrating this 2-0 start for the Dallas Stars?
I mean, this is kind of expected, right? Like, this is just what the Stars team has done the last, 6-7 years now. They just get off to really good starts. So we'll see a little bit further, because especially if they're going to be high in the division, it's going to take them getting like at 10 out of the first 15 at least. I feel like that's pretty safe lock-in at that point. But I mean, this is expected from a good team, and they were against hard opponents, but like, it's expected.
I'll be honest, I was just a little bit worried because Colorado went up against LA in their first game, and Colorado looked completely dominant. Like it didn't even look close against LA. And I know LA is, some are seeing at them as an inferior team and maybe not even making the playoffs this year, but that's still a decent team. That's a bubble team. And like Colorado just manhandled them. It wasn't even close. So
to be honest, they manhandled the Stars too.
Yeah,
just lost.
But so I guess the answer to my own question is I'm happy, but I'm not quite celebrating, if that makes any sense, right? The last two games are marks of good teams. Despite them having some really weird outcomes and some really bad shortfalls, they're still able to pull out wins. And sometimes you do it different ways. On Thursday, it was, relying upon your offense a little bit and getting out to a giant lead before almost blowing it. And then obviously yesterday was 100% on Jake Oettinger. That was, we'll get into that too. But am I crazy? What do you think Stars fans are feeling? You told me what you are feeling right now. What do you think Stars fans are taking right now?
Well, I mean, you're obviously happy, right? Like, you won the first 2 games against 2 really tough opponents that are only going to get stronger as the year goes on too. I mean, I can't believe we don't play Colorado again until like March or something stupid like that. But it's going to be a lot harder to play those games later in the season. And now you get to say that you took one off of both of those teams right at the beginning. That is a huge head start, especially when you're talking about Central Division matchups.
And the Stars are the only undefeated team in the Central Division right now. So, I mean, again, early season, it doesn't really mean much. But
well, the Avs are undefeated too.
No, they're not. They lost. They lost in a shootout, so they're not undefeated technically.
People will still call that undefeated. But I mean, I would call that undefeated. But
okay, what I do want to kind of jump into, how do you want to do this? Do you want to just go game by game, or do you just want to talk about general talking points?
Let's go game by game this time, because the 2 games truly were very different.
Okay, I took a crud ton of notes, which if you're a Who Cares member, you actually get to see all of my notes. For game one, you got to see everyone got to see my notes. For game two, not everyone did. But what I thought was interesting is in game one against the Jets, they had, I guess according to the lineup, they had Blackwell on the second line and they had Sam Steele on the top line. But that obviously wasn't the case that we saw through both games, I guess. And that we just saw a mosh podge of just about everything. So before the game even started, I thought the Lions were very, very interesting looking at how they were done.
Yeah, it's very strange. The one that's extra strange to me is Blackwell being on the second line. I mean, we know he has a tiny bit of offensive upside. We saw that in that one playoff game, and we've seen it here and there too. I mean, he digs for pucks and he throws it in front of that. That's what he does, and he's really good at it. But I mean, that's just not someone who is expecting to just start on the second line at all. I thought that was the weirder one. Sam Steele, he's played on a top line before, and it makes a little bit of sense. His skill is definitely there, and his speed is definitely there. It's just the finishing for Sam Steele. So as long as Steele can get it to other players, then it works out. And we saw that in the first game. I mean, that's how Rantanen scored the first goal of the season. It was Steele skating, and then he got it across to Rope, and Rope got a good shot, got a rebound, and Rantanen stuffed it.
Yeah, and that was the first goal of the game for the Stars against the Winnipeg Jets. Hellebuck had 21 shutouts in his career against the Central Division up to this point, and I was expecting to see a way better effort out of him. But again, it's early season. Maybe he's not quite there, and maybe the Stars just took advantage of bad defensive transitions for the Winnipeg Jets. But I was very surprised to see his, I don't want to say lack of effort, but like lack of domination against the Stars, especially in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, both goalies were not fully there, honestly. I mean, they weren't bad by any stretch of the word, but like, it was first game of the season. That's what it looked like, and it just showed in the game.
I had a couple more notes here. Connor tied it to Kyle Connor tied it. He scored on a cross zone pass from Otter's right corner. And it was actually Miro who had the giveaway that led to that goal. So I was a little worried about that. And one of the biggest things that I saw, especially within the first 10 minutes, James, was the transitional play for both teams. There was almost zero physical play. It was all skating. It was all, very much like tape to tape passes and stuff like that. Very clear transition play. I'm not sure what else you saw in the first period there, but crazy.
No, I mean, the passing was pretty clean through that first game. It was more of the defensive side in that game that was very spotty.
Dallas got lucky at literally the halfway mark of the first period. There probably should have been a too many men call, and they got lucky, and it was not called. The Bishop, I thought, has looked really good over these last two games. I specifically said he had a good D play to get out of the zone, and then he had a bad one. So that's normal for young defensemen, and we'll talk about Lundkvist here in a little bit too. I feel like because he's under the spotlight with a lot of hardcore Stars fans right now. And then Ilya Lyubushkin with a give and go opportunity. What? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, but it was still fun to watch, though. It was
funny, especially since he definitely got that from his preseason game that he scored. I mean, that's what he did in the preseason game at work. So he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna try it again." And I mean, it was a good chance. It just didn't end up working out.
I do want to throw this in here too. We got to the first TV timeout at 7 minutes and 10 seconds which is way late compared to where you're normally supposed to do it. It's supposed to be after the 13-minute mark of the first period is when you're supposed to take that first time out, but they never got the opportunity to. So it went all the way to then. And during that first TV timeout, like right before it, we saw this in the preseason a little bit, James, but Hintz punched Velarde in the face after the rope Hintz.
Yeah.
Punched Velarde in the face. Like, yes. Like we talked about how that was one of the things that frustrated us Like we didn't want the Stars to take stupid penalties, and maybe that's all the team was looking at what happened with Jamie Benn in that Vegas series all those years ago now, and how it basically cost them the series. But this is the kind of thing that we need to see more of. And yes, Hens did end up getting like a roughing minor for that. And we'll talk about, but the reason why I don't think the Stars are worried about it is because the penalty kill has been so good. I think if there's anything that we can take from these last two games is that the penalty kill has been absolutely dynamite for the Dallas Stars. And it better be, considering you got all these quote unquote bottom six guys that we've have. I mean, Oscar Beck, I know he's not playing right now, but he plays a lot on the penalty kill. You've got Roddick Foxa, who's probably one of the best in terms of, penalty killing as a forward. Blackwell, Steele. I mean, even Rope and Wyjo can play on the penalty kill too. So that was really interesting to see. But anyway, I'm getting off a little bit. I love seeing the little bit of nastiness from the Dallas Stars towards their opponents. Like, continue that, please.
Yeah, and it coming from the best players on the team. I mean, Rope had a moment in that game where he punched him there. Rantanen had a moment in that game. Especially Robo. Robo had a moment in that game, and he was nasty in the scrums too. And anytime someone would go after another player on his line, I mean, he was right in the middle of the other players trying to pile on that one dude. I mean, there was one game where he had like 3 players on him all at once, just trying to attack him when he wasn't even the one who was originally getting attacked. So it's that the nastiness they're getting into rather than just skating away. And especially for divisional opponents, that's very important.
One person I didn't give any credit for on the penalty kill was actually Maverick Bork. Maverick Bork had a really good first period in that game against Winnipeg on the penalty kill. I have a specific note about that. And then I think this is where we can stop and talk about Nils, because he makes it 2-1 in the first period, and he scored from Mikko, which, holy crap, what a pass! But even better, what a shot from Nils Lundkvist. And I know a lot of people are very high on him right now because he's had a very good first 2 games in terms of the offensive side. But while the countdown video was going before we got started here tonight, I want to pull this up, and Ardell was 100% reading my mind. He said 46 and 5. So Ilya Lyubushkin and Nils Lundkvist are both major liabilities on defense. And he did mention, though, at least that Nils Lundkvist is scoring. Okay. And that is key. Like, if you're going to make those mistakes, then at least make sure that you're putting the puck in the net or contributing that way. And that's what we have been missing from Nils Lundkvist the last several years. And I don't know if I'm okay with that, but the nice thing is, and what I've seen from Glenn Golitzson, is that he's allowing him to make those mistakes right now. And like, I think that's another key, is that you got to let Nils Lundkvist make those mistakes. Because with Pete DeBoer didn't let him make those mistakes. Because as soon as he made those mistakes, nope, you're done. Like, you're down. And Talek Lizzie, y'all are reading my mind, I swear. And I was thinking about this earlier. Talek Lizzie with the comment, the new Klinger. Yes, like he has got some huge offensive capabilities, and he's got some defensive liabilities. Are you okay with that, James, or do you want to see Nils Lundkvist tighten up the defensive game, maybe, and then in turn that may be hurting his offensive game more as well? Or are you fine with what you're seeing right now?
Well, you definitely want to see him tighten up the defensive game, especially against the Avs in particular. I thought his game against the Jets was pretty much perfect from him. I mean, obviously, there's some things here and there, but for Nils Lundkvist standards, that was an extremely good game defensively. Even the Avalanche and those faster teams is really where he's got to improve defensively. And honestly, like, if we get like little below average defending from him one game, but he scores, I mean, you can write that off almost. Like that's part of what we were seeing with him when we got him from the Rangers. It was like, okay, this defenseman has offensive upside, but his defense is kind of like bad. What was pretty much how it went. And if that's going to be the case, he has to score to stay in the lineup. And if he is getting on the sheet, getting on the score sheet, then he'll stay in the lineup.
The other question I was thinking about too is if Nils is taking that offensive chance, which we've seen him jump up in the rush several times, which is good. We want to see him do that. Does that hurt Thomas Harley's value in terms of Harley getting points and stuff like
No.
that? And are you okay with doing that?
Well, here's the thing. We saw later in that same game Harley score a goal because Nils Lundkvist crashed to the net. Like, and honestly, if there's two just great offensive defensemen on the line like that, and one of them's crashing the net, the other one's staying up high. I want Thomas Harley to be the one that's up high. Honestly, for one, he's the better defender if he's the only one back, and two, if he gets the puck, he is a much better shooter than any of our other defensemen on the team. So there's two good reasons for him to stay back. I mean, like he is also very good with the puck, with stick handling as well. But I'd rather have Thomas Harley back.
I agree with you, and it was slightly a joke because in 2 games he's already got 4 points. Thomas Harley does. Like he's fine. He's gonna be fine.
And Lundkvist has 3, right?
I think so. I think that's correct.
So that pairing has 7 points through 2 games, that's pretty hot, especially considering Harley has not gotten a lot of power play time either.
Now, what was nice is for Nils Lundkvist, and I know it's a terrible stat. We all hate it, but from a game-by-game basis, I think it's a little bit more indicative. He was +3 against Winnipeg. Nils Lundkvist was. And then he was a -2. Probably should have been a -3 if he hadn't been on the ice for the goal that you're talking about, Thomas Harley's goal. And that was against Colorado, by the way. We should make that clear. Like that can't be that wide of a swing. It can't be a -5 difference between 2 games. He's got to be a little bit better than that. And I'm not saying he has to be like a +5 every game or a +4, but you the very least got to break even. You can't be a defensive liability. And I don't know if we'll have time to talk about it, but the one thing I noticed about Nils Lundkvist, specifically in the Colorado game, is there were a couple of defensive plays where someone was already like covering a guy, and then he also joined said Stars player in defending that player as well, and that left the door wide open for a goal to happen. And that happened twice on 2 different plays. And that's something that I think is an easier thing that he just has to be a little bit more aware. A little bit better defensive awareness, and I think that he's able to kind of take that part of his game and kind of clean it up a little bit.
So, and some of that is because it is a new system. I mean, the Stars as a whole, I mean, he's not the only one who's missed assignments in front of the net like that. So that's gonna get better as the season goes along. It's gonna feel more natural for them.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's go ahead and move on because we could talk about Lundkvist even more, but I want to try to keep going. Okay. Second period, in the Winnipeg game, not much goes on. There's a couple of chances. Velarde was nuts in the second period for Winnipeg. I have like his name like 4 or 5 times. What did you think about the Rantanen hit on Nemestikov? It looked like he kind of hit him from behind ever so slightly and just kind of threw him into the boards. What did you think? You just rolled your eyes, so I'm guessing not very much.
It was nothing. I mean, he passed it up the ice and Nemestikov stopped looking, and then Rantanen hit him. I mean, Rantanen was getting pissed in that second period too because Hellebuck was standing on his head, and Rantanen's favorite spot is right in front of the net, and he got cross-checked the entire game. I mean, the entire game. In both games, really, that happened. So, I mean, I it's a little bit of frustration from Rantanen, but I don't think that it was like a dirty hit or anything.
The one thing I did like about that particular thing is there was a kerfuffle that started, and Robo was in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'm talking about.
That's the one you were talking about, and yeah. I was just like, and yes, Like, and the other thing that I think they even talked about on Saturday was the fact that Robo doesn't get credit for how big he actually is. Like he's 6'3". Like he's not as small as his brother and his counterpart in Toronto. Like he's quite a large human being. Like everyone's like, oh, well, Nathan Bastian's like this 6'4" monstrosity guy, and I'm like, yeah, and he's quite a bit like stockier than Robo, but Robo is 6'3". That's nothing to kind of, bat your eyes at. Like he can play a big style game, and he has been. And we saw that in the playoffs, the end of the playoffs last year, when he starting to feel a little bit better after his injury. And we saw it in the preseason this season already. And then now we've seen it in the first two games, in both the game we're currently talking about, Winnipeg, and the game against Colorado. Like the physicality was showing up.
And that's one thing that, like, the Stars, one of the things that I'm so excited about with the Stars being more physical. Our top line is massive. They've just never played heavy. I mean,
they can.
Robo is the smallest one, and he's 6'3", 207 pounds. Like, they are massive. They can move their weight around, and they can move other people around. And that's just not something they've ever done, because they're skilled forwards and they go score goals, and that's what they've been told to do. And I'm hoping with Goldson, I mean, we get some of this physicality in there. This team as a whole gets 12 times scarier, because, like, for how nice it is to have, like, Bastian and Foxa hitting, if you have your top line, your scoring line leading the way in both scoring and physicality, I mean, that sends a message to the whole team. I mean, this could really turn into a nasty, ugly Stars team to play.
Yeah, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I want to see what they can do moving forward, because I watched the Saturday game here this afternoon, so I didn't get to see it until then. But one of the things that I noticed was when they could feel that the momentum was going against them, they started to push back a little bit, and they used that physicality, and they took that extra step or two to finish a check, especially in the offensive zone when the puck was there, because they didn't spend a whole lot of time in the offensive zone against Colorado. But that when they did in the second period, especially, they started gaining some momentum. They got a power play, and that led the Stars to be able to kind of take the lead there again. So I love seeing the physicality from this team right now. It's really starting to get there.
And now, I hope it gets more and more and more as the season goes on. Like,
that 1% every game.
You could still get even more physical than they are now. I mean, we're excited because we've never seen it for 3 years, basically. I mean, DeBoer's system was get the puck and go up the ice and skate, and then once they get the puck, chase the person with the puck and get the puck back. And there's basically no physicality in that at all. So it's going to be really exciting, I think, for us to go through the season and see how much more physical this team gets.
I like it. I like what I'm seeing. Okay, now what I do want to mention is that we get to the end of the second period here in this game against Winnipeg, and the Stars are just getting power play after power play. It was 4-4 at one point. Then they were able to get a 4-3, which I don't think I've ever seen. Maybe like once or twice last season at all, and we saw it like twice in this game.
Yeah,
and then they even got a 5-3, and the lack of being able to score on the power play started to worry me a little bit, because we hadn't seen it. And you get into the third period, they do eventually get one, but it's after the 5-3 is already done. So they score on the 5-4 after the 5-3 had been killed. They go up 3-1. Sagan would make it 4-1, and then Wyatt Johnston would make it 5-1. Wyatt had a really good shot from the mid slot. There was a screen in front of Hellebuck, so he never saw it. Sagan scored from Duchesne, and that was probably the highlight reel goal of the game, to be honest with you, at least for the Stars. And it was all over social media for that evening and the following morning. And then Robo was able to score on his own rebound on that power play goal to allow the Stars to take that trio of goals to go up 5-1. And at that point, I was basking in the gloriness of being up 5-1. And not because it was Winnipeg, but I did take a couple of shots at Winnipeg, and literally as soon as I did that, it started to go south. But before we get there, what did you think about the Stars trio of goals early in the third?
Yeah, I mean that's the onslaught of forwards that we have. Truly, I mean there's some defensive help in there, but like those are your snipers all going for it, and 3 sniper goals back to back to back, and uh, that's just what this team is truly capable of. The further along they get into the season, we just saw a flash of it at the beginning, which we thought was going to make this game very easy. And honestly, it should have been. And I think the players on the ice also thought that, which is why.
He is setting me up. Well, before we do that, though, I did mention that Dallas was just completely dominating Winnipeg. And it, like you said earlier, it was like a tale of two cities. It was, I had a note here at 18:34 when Sagan scored his goal to make it 4-1. It was 33-14 in shots in favor of Dallas. And we'll get to the Colorado game and how different that was. But it was just completely silent in Winnipeg. You could hear a pin drop. It was really, really cool. And then Winnipeg got a rush chance, and I think this is where it really started to kind of get going, unfortunately. And the other thing that happened, that before we get to the thing to come, I will not speak of it until we get there. Scheifele and Ritzkovian. Ritzkovian has shown in the last 2 games that he's not afraid to get in there and kind of do the nasty stuff, which is kind of nice. We saw him do it against Scheifele here in this game, and then he did it against Colorado when there was a hit that he didn't like, that Ross Colton delivered on Miro Heiskanen. Especially considering what happened with Matt Rempe last year and the hit that Miro took. Like, good on Ritzkovian. Good on Ritzkovian to do that. And he's trying to find his way in the lineup and stay in the lineup and stuff. Well, you do stuff like that, you're gonna endear your teammates to yourself. So, what do you see from Ritzkovian?
Yeah, I mean that's one way that he is a like player on the ice. I mean, he's very physical. He has a temper too, and a temper to protect his teammates as well. I mean, I think both of the fights were off of kind of nasty, close to really bad hits, and he clearly cares about everyone on his team very much, and maybe a little too much, because he's fighting people a lot taller than him. But I mean, he's hanging in there very, very well too. I mean, it's great to see.
I also shouldn't think about it this way, but I do. No offense to Ritzkovian, but he is not a key player on this ice. On this team, right? Like, we traded him off in the penalty box for Mark Scheifele. Like, Mark Scheifele got a matching minor with Ritzkovian with all the slashes and stuff they were doing to each other. Like, I will take that trade any day. And then even the trade off in the Colorado game when he took Ross Colton and the two of them fought. He didn't necessarily win the fight to begin with, but he definitely ended it. And I would argue that he maybe even he won that fight against Ross Colton. But like, that's another trade-off that I would be willing to do. Like, trade off Ross Colton for Justin Ritzkovian. Yes, absolutely. Any day of the week.
Being a little baby too. He held on to Ritzy's helmet. Like, come on, man. Unchivalrous.
Yeah, and Ritzkovian just ended him. Just right then and there, straight in the face.
Once he finally broke free, he gave him one good punch.
So, speaking of those minors in the Winnipeg game, that led it to be 4-on-4. Morrissey would trip up Harley, and I'm just thinking, oh man, this is just gonna get great. And it did the complete opposite thing. First, Morgan Barron would score shorthanded coming out of the box, and well, that just absolutely sucked. And Kyle Connor had a shot, and Otter gave up a really rotund rebound. It was really, really large. And then Kyle Connor scored another shorthanded goal. And I was thinking, please don't do this. Like, and the other thing that I think was mentioned, I don't have the note here, but if I remember correctly, I think it was Razor that said the Stars had only given up 4 shorthanded goals the entire season last year. Well,
the
we're
Jets had
halfway
only
there
scored
this
4
season already.
last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was tough. Some of that was, I think that was really the letting up part, was the shorthanded goals, because the Jets were hungry. They knew they were down a lot. They knew there wasn't much time left, and they attacked the people at the top of the zone. And the Stars were not ready for that. Twice they got jumped, and it went the other way as breakaways. And that's really something that has to stay in the early season, and it needs to, you need to be more focused through the whole game, even when you're up 5-1. I mean, it's a really tough ask, that it's not really fair to be like, you need to stay focused. It's 5-1. You're going to lose. But like at the
They
same
almost
time,
did.
Yeah, at the same time, they almost did. You almost gave up a beautiful opening night because you relaxed for 10 minutes.
They just took their foot off the gas, like 100%. They had their foot on the gas, full throttle, all the way down at the beginning of that third period, and then they just took it off. And I guess it was because they were on the power play. I don't know, but again, I'm just gonna put this up to the fact that it's early season. They're still learning the defensive structure that's a little bit different than what Pete DeBoer was doing. And after Kyle Connor scored that shorthanded goal off the rush, I actually put this in my notes. I said, "Dude, please don't do this to me." And I was just like, I can't handle it emotionally. 2, I had already started crap posting on Twitter with the podcast profile and making fun of Winnipeg. And I was just like, please don't do this to me where I have to like eat my words. Like, please don't do this. And then literally
speaking of early season, did you know ice is actually slippery?
Really?
It's very slick.
I never would have guessed. And that's very good transition, James. All right. So Heiskanen falls down right in front of Jake Oettinger and just,
Kyle Connor has basically breakaway.
Like, come on. I saw him fall and was like, oh no.
Yeah. And literally the best player on their team is coming down the ice. Okay, cool.
So Kyle Connor gets the hat trick goal, and it puts the Jets within 1 of Dallas. And I'm like,
3 minutes left too.
No.
3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. And then 10 seconds after that, of course, what do the Stars do? Thomas Harley. Now, I think it's still under question whether he actually knocked it out or not, but it doesn't matter. It happened. They called it. Thomas Harley takes a delay of game penalty 10 seconds after they score the goal. And I'm like, you have got to be absolutely kidding me.
And then, I mean, after that, though, this is when the bright lights come shining back through. Because, I mean, this was something that happened time and time and time again in the playoffs, where the Stars, it would be a tie game or a close game late, and they would take a penalty. And every single time they killed it off. And they were able to repeat that, you know? And that's something that's very, very comforting, especially for going through the rest of the regular season. The penalty kill looks the exact same. And that's exactly where we want it to be.
And they got reinforcements, too, with Radek Faksa coming in. Like, I know Chris, he's not here to defend himself, but I know he doesn't really like Faksa because he calls him a black hole in terms of offense. But the other thing, and I want to throw this out here because we're at the end of talking about the Winnipeg game. But what I saw from both games, James, is this. At least it feels this way. I need to actually look at the stats, but before I look at the stats, it felt like the Stars lost a ton of faceoffs, and that feels like that is almost a weakness now for this team, at least through the first 2 games. If I look,
it was about even in the first game.
and we actually had
we actually had the edge in both games.
Okay.
By the end of it.
Maybe it was just the timing of the face-offs. Then it felt like every time it was a major face-off, we lost it.
I think the big ones that we lost were our offensive zone face-offs on the power play specifically. I mean, we couldn't win those to save our lives, especially in the Winnipeg game. I mean, we just couldn't win them.
Fair enough. And now it also doesn't help that Jamie Benn is not in the lineup either. Like if there's anything that he has not gotten worse at or slower with, it's face-offs. Like that's one of his huge strong suits for a long time. I think his career percentage, he's at like over 60%.
I don't
winning
think it's
face-offs.
over 60, but it's very high for a career stat.
Help me out. Look that up real quick. But yeah, the face-offs, it felt like in the early season that it's just been an issue for the Dallas Stars, and maybe they just haven't been as dominant, and I just got used to how dominant they were last year. That was just a feeling, but the stats obviously don't back that up and don't back that feeling up at all. So, okay. All right. Sorry. Do you have the
face-off percentage over his whole career is 52.8%.
Really? That's a lot lower than I would have expected.
But that's actually very, very, very high for a career face-off stat.
Which is that is still true. I just thought it would have been a lot higher than that.
His last 3 seasons, he's hit 60 twice, and he hit 56 last year.
Okay, so that's okay. That's why I was thinking 60.
He's been incredibly good the last couple of years at it.
Okay. Before we briefly talk about the Colorado game, we kind of been jumping back and forth a little bit. But in anything in particular, like any talking points that you want to take out of that Winnipeg game in particular?
I don't think so. I think that was probably the best game we've seen from Nils Lundkvist ever. That's what I will say. I think that was his career best game.
Fair enough. My thought process was the fans loved that game, especially fans that were not fans of Winnipeg or Dallas. I think it was a very entertaining game for fans. It was not an entertaining game for coaches. that was my big takeaway from that game, that holy crap, we got some work to do. And again, despite the Stars almost blowing a 4-goal lead, they're able to pull it out. And at the end of the season, they don't ask how you did it. They ask, or they don't ask how many. Wait, no. I need to rethink about that. They just care about, at the end of the day, that whether you got the points or not. They don't look at the amount of goals or the amount of you score or give up.
Yeah, and especially the first month, that's the biggest thing. Just win. I mean, the early season does not matter how you win. You just need the points.
Okay. For the Colorado game, I want to throw this in here real quick because I think it's really important. And I'm being genuine when I say this. Congratulations to Brent Burns. Like 1,500 games in the NHL, that is absolutely astronomically huge. Like that is really cool. And it's just awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And the other reason why I kind of like this guy is I actually teach one of his nieces here at the school where I teach. So I also think that's kind of cool. I wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out for that. So, but Wedgwood actually gets to start for Colorado because Blackwood is actually injured to start the season, and Otter gets to start for Dallas for that game against Colorado. And they threw the same lineup together for Saturday that they did for Thursday. And the forward line
fake one.
Yes, exactly. That's a good point. Like I think they started that way, and then they were just like, It's almost like you're at the yogurt shop, and then you get like the base yogurt, right? And then you have all the toppings in front of you, and you're like, okay, I'll take a little bit of that and a little bit of this, and then you go through again the second time. When you go again, you're like, well, I like this, but let me take this, like the sour neon gummy worms here instead of this. That's what it felt like Glenn Goldson was doing for a majority of both of these games.
Still tinkering is really what I think comes down to. And part of that is because Jamie Benn is out.
But the other thing I don't hate about all of the lines was even when like Sam Still was on the top line and Blackwell was on the second line, I didn't hate it. Right? It wasn't.
I hated Blackwell on the second line.
Really?
I thought it looked bad.
Fair enough. But it wasn't it didn't bother me so much that they were playing terrible together. That was just my takeaway from that in general. Um let me see. Duh, 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 duh. This game was very different in terms of the Winnipeg game. And the first note I'll share with everyone that I thought Colorado was just hungrier on pucks throughout the duration of the first period. And I put that Dallas didn't look terrible defensively, and they were being very opportunistic, even without scoring goals yet in the first period. But they were spending absolutely zero time in the offensive zone. Like they're next to nothing. I would not be surprised if they spent less than 2 minutes in the offensive zone in the first period.
Yeah, that was a really, really tough period to go through. I mean, the Avs came out fast too. I mean, they were ready for this game, and you could see it, you could tell, and the fans were all into it because they were just peppering Otter like crazy. But I mean, Otter held really strong, and that was really important. And the penalty kill held really strong too, and that was also important. I mean, those two things together is really, really what got us through that first period. And that at that point, like after the first 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure every Stars fan was just asking to survive the period somehow because it was a constant onslaught.
And the shots on goal kind of backed that up because it was 13-3 Colorado right before Thomas Harley scored on a nice tic-tac-toe play. And this was the play that you were talking about that Nils Lundkvist kind of set up. He takes it deep down into the zone, and I'm not quite sure how it gets to Rantanen. I think it bounced off a Colorado skate or something like that. It wasn't directly to Rantanen, but regardless, Rantanen ends up with the puck, and then he
Rantanen
basically
has ice in the back of his head and passes
yeah.
it straight to Thomas Harley without looking at him.
Yeah. And then literally right after that, Harley is able to be right there, kind of at the top of the circle to Wedgwood's left, and just buries it. Like what a shot!
And every Avalanche player on the ice just completely honed in on Rantanen, and they were all
as they should.
It's like a big black hole of attention, and they're all just sucked to him. When the pass came across, I mean, no one was ready for it, and Wedgwood was the least ready for it, honestly. And Harley had a good shot anyway. That would have been tough to save even if you were squared to it. And yeah. I mean, that's just that pass was nuts.
And the other thing about this whole game in general was just the turnovers that Dallas was giving up were egregious. And Otter just seemed to mop up just about everything. After the first period, they did mention that Nils Lundkvist had 3 points in 4 games, which is very good. But at this point, he had not had any major defensive miscues, which he would have throughout the rest of the game. But the other thing I wanted to point out was their skating that they had in the first period against Winnipeg was non-existent against Colorado in the first period of this game. So I don't know. I'm just attributing that to early season. Plus, they hadn't been in Denver in a while. So, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that has nothing to do with with it being Mile High or whatever." And I'm like, "Yes, it does. Like, I've been there. There is a difference." So, I don't know that it's early season. I'm trying not to react too much about all of that stuff. So, the one thing I did want to highlight too that Victory Plus highlighted was Jake Ottinger's career numbers in October are absolutely ridiculous. Like
they got a little worse the last 2 games though.
Yes, they have. But he didn't deserve it in this game.
That's true.
I don't think. He gave up 4 goals in both games, but he did not deserve the 4.0 goals against average that he currently has. Like there were some goals I thought were kind of soft in the Winnipeg game. But they were still good chances. In this game, he didn't deserve to have 4 goals scored against him. He probably should have been more. But he kept the Stars in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Otter won the whole game for the Stars. Honestly, I mean, and you look at for all that playoff series that we had against them when they're looking at time led versus between the two teams. I mean, the Stars led for most of this game. And that's really what's nuts, is that the Avalanche completely were controlling the pace of play, and the Stars led for a majority of the time.
It was 1-0 going into the first intermission, and almost immediately the Avs would make it 2-1 by the middle of the second period. It started with Marty Necas from Otter's left circle, and then Brindley, a rookie for the Colorado Avalanche, he scores his first career goal, so congratulations to him, even though he's a member of the Colorado Avalanche. I hate you. He scored from a really pretty centering pass from Victor Olofsson.
Oh, that pass from Olofsson was nuts. I mean,
yes.
Olofsson's going around Thomas Harley, and Harley gets a stick in there, whacks it right off, and Olofsson kicks it back to his stick with his skate that's like way wide out too. He's a super wide stance, forks it over to Brindley for his first goal. I mean, that was a nuts play.
This is why I'm saying both of these goals at the same time, is because on both of these goals, as soon as I gave the basic general information about what happened, I put this. Both defensemen were occupied in front of the net instead of watching and looking for other options for the puck carrier to hand off the puck to. And specifically, they were not watching Necas, and they were not watching Brindley.
Like it was more of a rush goal, but the Necas one, yeah, definitely no one was stopped.
But still, you have that is something that if you have the defensive awareness that you're supposed to have, those are the kind of things that you should be in the right place at the right time. If it's a perfect pass, then I'm not gonna say anything about it to Harley and Nils. But the fact of the matter is one and or both of those goals could have been prevented. Could have been.
The Brindley one was just a turnover, and it was a rush chance. No one was back to get Brindley. There was no one to cover him because no one had gotten back yet. The Necas one, but the Necas one definitely is a missed assignment, though. They just completely missed him.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical, but despite that, I did. This is where I did kind of around this time right that it seems like Dallas is losing a ton of faceoffs, which obviously that's not the case at all. That was just a feeling. And Dallas got a power play, and Josh Manson had a heroic play to kind of keep the puck out after Robo made a beautiful deke to kind of get in there, and it was just Manson saved a goal. That's nothing on Robo. It was just Josh Manson making an incredible move to kind of keep it out. And then from then on, for the rest of the second period, I think that was the turning point for the Stars when they started to really start to get it going.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the best stretch of game that the Stars had was after that power play to the end of the second. They pretty much dominated it.
No,
it was a very short amount of time, but
they didn't dominate in terms like they did in the Winnipeg game, but they were the better team for that last 8-9-ish minutes of the second period, and they were opportunistic. They got 2 goals here. First, it was Bastian, and it was a good play. It was a good play by Essa to get him the puck, and Bastian kept his stick on the ice like he's supposed to, and it banked off his stick and went in. That's what he's supposed to do.
Fourth line goal. Let's go.
I'll take it. And I mean, it was a very smart goal. And then literally with a minute and a half remaining in that second period, Robo with just a gorgeous tip, and it was from a icing call against Colorado, and it was Harley with the point shot. That was one of the few face-offs that I thought they had won at that point. I even put they won a face-off after an icing and put a exclamation point after it. But good plays all around, good winning of the face-off, good shot by Harley to get it through traffic, and then Robo takes care of the rest. And at that point, it was 3-2 Dallas, and the shots are shocking. It was 22-11 right after that goal. So the Stars had basically scored a goal every 4 shots to that point. They were extremely opportunistic up until that point. So,
I mean, the whole game they were. I mean, that's basically what it ended up being by the end of the game too. And honestly, I don't think a lot of those are even Wedgwood's fault. Like maybe the first one he should be more square on, but it's still like it's a grade A chance, and that's what all of Dallas's goals were scored off of.
Now, I do want to throw something in here about special teams here real quick. Is the power play is not fantastic right now. It's 1 for 7 to start the year. But what they have done and what I have complained about for years is they didn't use the power play to get momentum to lead them going the right direction. Well, even though they didn't score on the power play here in the second period, that was the turning point, and they built it from there, and they got the lead back. So even though the numbers don't say that the Stars were great on the power play, they were able to build momentum off of it, and I think that is extremely important and something that needs to be addressed. But on the other side, the penalty killing for the Dallas Stars has been elite the first 2 games of the season. That is something that has not changed, and they just got even more guys that could go out there and take care of business on the penalty kill. Like, I am so happy that Roddick Foxa is back in terms of that. Like, if you have Foxa, Essa Lindell, and you throw Thomas Harley or Miro Heiskanen out there on like a 5-on-3, man, that's elite, 5-on-3 PK unit. In my opinion, like that makes me, I still wouldn't feel great about it because it's a 5-on-3, but the fact that those 3 guys are out there makes me feel a lot better about the Stars' chances to not allow a goal. Lots of stuff on the special teams there. And then the one thing I think, because we're getting low on time here, James, is that the rest of the game was a lot of fun too. I mean, Lehkonen would score to tie it immediately. Wyatt Johnson had a breakaway, which again, just he takes care of business and just looks amazing doing it. He makes it 4-3. McKinnon McKinnon scored on the power play to make it 4-4. And when he did that, shots were 30-17 Colorado. So like I said, complete opposite of the Winnipeg game. And Colorado was pressing throughout the rest of that third period.
And that's where Otter really shined.
And this is where you're getting ahead of me, but this is where we need to kind of end with the story of the game against Colorado. Jake Oettinger was fantastic. And he wasn't as noticeable in the first and second period, even though he was making some really good saves. But what makes it a little bit more noticeable in the third is he had a sassy glove save on Jack Drury off of a rush chance. That was just a brilliant save. He had another opportunity that he made on Marty Necas, who had scored a goal on him previously already. So that was a really good save by him. And it was, of all people, it was Essa Lindell who turned the puck over, who started that. And then obviously the one that everyone was talking about after the game was the marvelous glove save that he made on Necas again, but in overtime with 38 seconds remaining. And I mean, even the people in the stands, like Colorado fans, thought they scored. Like, and I don't blame them. The way that it looked like, the angle that they had, I thought that was a goal for sure. And
he was dead to rights. I mean,
and that was one of those plays that you can look back on and be like, okay, that's when his Vezina season started. Like, just a Vezina level save, and it's only the second game of the season, and the Stars are already having to rely upon him for that. But he did. And he put up a way better effort in the game against Colorado than he did against Winnipeg. So I don't understand how he was not one of the 3 stars. I'll pull up Darren's comment here. How was he not one of the 3 stars? Nelson was a star with 0 points.
Yeah,
it's just
that's opposing. Yeah, that's opposing guards for you. So.
Yeah. But in the shootout, Robo Rantanen would score, so that just made it even more je ne sais quoi with Rantanen finishing off the game that way, because they were booing him every single time he touched the puck. And Duchesne a little bit, but it was more Rantanen, obviously. And
well, they got close to the same numbers, so sometimes they would boo like it was Rantanen, but really it was Duchesne.
Right, yeah. It was close enough, but whatever. Otter deserves all the credit here for this game. Like, I know the Stars had some really good stretches, especially in the second period, but he's the reason why the Stars win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been like a 7-3 loss. Honestly, it really was. I mean, they were eating the Stars' defense alive.
All right, we're gonna try it. It's gonna feel a little weird, but we're gonna do biggest winner and biggest loser, and we're going to do it just based off of the games that we have. So we got 2 games to look at, James. And by the way, if this is too weird, we're just going to stop it, but we're going to try it, see how it goes. Biggest winner, biggest loser of the first 2 games of the regular season. What have you got?
My biggest winner for the 2 games is Thomas Harley. I mean, he has been an absolute monster. He has the 4 points through 2 games. He also has 9 blocked shots. I mean, the dude has been outstanding at every opportunity. And the one time he looked silly was because the other player kicked it from his skate back to his stick again. So what are you going to do about that one, man? You know?
For my biggest winner, I mean, you could pick either one from either game. Obviously, Oettinger for Saturday, but the one that was consistent through both games in this short time period of a season is the Stars penalty kill. Like they saved the bacon quite a bit several times in both games and allowed the Stars to stay in it. And I hope that continues to be kind of a staple of this team for this season as being a top 5 penalty killing team. I think that is going to happen, and I hope that continues to happen. So they get my biggest winner for both of those games. Who's your loser, James?
My biggest loser is one Miro Heiskanen. His first game against Winnipeg was flat out terrible. I mean, that's one of the worst games we've seen for Miro, especially in a home opener. It looked really bad. He had extended time on the 4-on-3s as well in that game. He quarterbacked pretty much all of it, and they weren't able to score off of those. It's really where I wish Harley would still be power play unit number 1. And that's kind of where both of my biggest winner and biggest loser come from is just that dichotomy as a whole through the first 2 games, because Harley looked so good defensively and offensively. He played great, and Miro had really good defensive. He was really good at times in the defensive zone. Like there was one, it was a 1-on-1 rush with Makar and Heiskanen, and the fans were like screaming their heads off in Colorado, and Heiskanen just whack, and it's off his stick into the corner. Like it was that harmless, and that type of harmless play that Miro makes all offensive players look like. I mean, but then I look at the offensive side of it, of where Miro should be shining, where we think as a fan base he should be shining, and I just see Harley there more, and he's just better offensively to start the season. And that my mind's kind of turned completely to Harley being the best offensive defenseman we have, like far and away.
And it seems like that's going to continue to go that way. And I don't think that's a shot at Miro at all. He is one of the most elite defensemen in the NHL. But it feels like that he has leaned more towards the Esa Lindell side of the game than he has the Erik Karlsson side of the game.
And
which is fine. We have Harley to be able to do that. We even have Nils Lundkvist to be able to do that.
When some of it is out of necessity through like his developing years too. I mean, he was the best defenseman on this team, and you had Esa Lindell, and then who else? I mean, who else was next really? And he had to be that defensive rock all the time. And I think that's just something he's not going to be able to take his mind out of, even for like a little bit, because if your mindset's like that, you can't get into an offensive mindset because you're always thinking about the defensive side.
Fair enough. Okay. I think we're good on that, right?
Did you do your biggest loser?
Did I do my biggest loser?
I said Miro.
Oh no, I don't think I did. Okay. That's a hard one, to be honest with you, but
I'll choose one for you.
Well, I think I have one, but it might be a little bit sad. I'll go ahead and give it to Ilya Lyubushkin.
Yep, that's what I was gonna tell you.
Oh, really? Okay, so we were both thinking the same thing. But I didn't want to this early on kind of rat him, but like I'm looking at time on ice, which is very interesting, by the way. You should go look at the defenseman time on ice. but he had 12 minutes and 14 seconds in the game against Winnipeg, and I think he had like 13 minutes against Colorado. 13:37. Yeah.
And he had that 2-minute minor that led to the power play goal, the fourth goal for the Avalanche. And he was exposed on many goals in that game too. I mean, it was a really tough one.
And that leads me to believe that we might see Petrovic a little sooner than maybe we imagined. So I think that we'll see Alexander Petrovic here soon, because again, he played really well with Liam Bichsel. That's the other factor in that, is that the Petrovic just played. The reason why he was in the playoffs is because he just played so well next to Liam Bichsel. I don't know, Darren. I'll pull up Darren's comment again. I think we'll see Petro Tuesday. I don't think so, because it's the home opener, and I think Ilya Lyubushkin deserves that, to be honest with you. But I would not be surprised if he plays on Tuesday either, just based off of the first 2 games of the regular season. So I'll give my biggest loser to Ilya Lyubushkin. I hate saying that, because I love Lyubushkin as a player. Okay, we got a Who Cares segment, right?
Are we doing it or are we skipping it?
No, we should go ahead and do it. We'll do it really fast. We won't spend too much time on it. And this was your idea, so I'll let you.
This was my idea. So we are doing for our Who Cares segment, we are doing cereal mascots. Top 3 cereal mascots, not just cereal, the mascots.
Okay, so I'll let you go first, though, James.
Okay, my number 3 is the toucan on the Fruit Loop cereal. I don't know what it is, but it's big.
You don't know his name?
It's Sam.
Okay, you do know his name. Okay.
His big, colorful beak is just, I don't know. There's something about it.
I like Toucan Sam. He's awesome. I'm gonna go with my number 3 as Buzz the Bee on Honey Nut Cheerios. It's just classic, and I loved Honey Nut Cheerios growing up. But there weren't many of the other ones I really liked all that much. But he's my number 3, just because the other 2 I like more. So that's my only reasoning.
Okay.
I know that's boring. Sorry.
My number 2 is the Cocoa Puffs person, because he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And there was just something about that commercial. Me as a little kid, I loved that alliteration. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Tell like Lizzie, what about the Pothead Applejack Cinnamon Stick? That's a good one. It didn't make my top 3, but that is a good one. This category is very interesting, because you can go anywhere.
It's a crazy category.
Yeah. But my number 2 is actually Crazy Squares. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch. 1, because I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch just as a cereal, but 2, I loved those commercials when I was little. When they would like eat each other in the cereal bowl or whatever. I thought that was the most hilarious thing in the world when I was little. So that's my number 2. It's Crazy Squares.
My number 1 is Crazy Squares.
Because
those are hilarious. Yeah. Cannibalism is just funny. Okay, I don't know what to say.
Okay, and for my number 1, can you guess my number 1? I'm curious.
Captain Crunch?
No. Although I did, peanut butter Captain Crunch is one of my favorite cereals. There's only one real answer. He's like the goat. The goat of all
Lucky Charms, dude?
Nope.
The Trix rabbit?
Nope. Come on, James.
No, you're telling me, because I don't want to guess if it's anything else.
It has to be Tony the Tiger.
No.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger is the worst one.
No. That is
that is such a bad number 1. I'm not even gonna do the rest of the podcast.
No, see,
I'm leaving.
No. Ardell has it.
Bye. Don't
no,
care.
It was the right. Where are you going? Well, fine. Okay. He's a loser, anyways. Tony the Tiger is the real number 1, as James is walking away because he's a loser, and it's the only one. It has to be the number 1. It's the clear number 1 in terms of cereal box mascots. Like, they're great. He's great. It has to be number one. And anybody who says otherwise is not right. So I'm going to have to get Chris on here on Wednesday and tell James why he's 100% completely wrong. Because there's nothing else. Like literally nothing else. Like when you look at some of these other ones, I mean, Captain Crunch, yeah, he's pretty good. There's Chip the Wolf, which is the Cookie Crisp guy, I think, and he's okay. The the leprechaun, I guess his name is Lucky because he's a leprechaun. The Tricks Rabbit, yeah, sure, but seriously, it has to be Tony the Tiger as the number one mascot. He's the best. Let's see. James James shut down the government because he couldn't win. Oh, I love it. Yeah, you see this, James. He's probably gonna listen to this later and know, or maybe he's even watching in the other room. How is Tony the Tiger the worst? He's not. He's the best athlete for sure, and none of the other mascots can throw a ball. Yes, 100%. Like it's not even close. Like he's the most athletically inclined of all of the mascots. There's a reason why he gets number one. He's the real true number one. Okay, I gotta wrap this up because I can tell I'm getting tired. And we all got work tomorrow, most of us do. So thank everyone so much for the loyalty that you showed to this show. I appreciate it. I know Chris and James do, even though James left. But you guys are awesome. We appreciate all of the all the nice things that are said about us, and even some of the disagreements that we get from you guys. It's just all in good fun, and we would appreciate your support moving forward. So once again, thank you to all of you for doing so. Click like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. If you're listening on the audio side, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that as well. Forgot to mention this off the top, but thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. Our promo code is THPN for them. Once again, THPN for DraftKings Sportsbook. Alongside nobody, because James ditched me, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Hope y'all have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever you guys are listening, go Stars.